this next section, which I'm calling Too Much AI. I saw this little tweet earlier, and I thought that maybe you would like to take a little look-see at it. Yeah. I said, I tried manually coding a feature, and I just can't anymore. It's like I know how to do it, but my body simply refuses to do this manually again, no matter how wrong the LLM agent will be. Is that too much AI? Have we finally hit the peak of too much AI? But hold on, there's more. This little beautiful one right here is everybody's favorite company, Coinbase, which is 40% of daily code written at Coinbase is AI generated. And they're trying to get it to 50%. Which honestly, when I hear of a company that is based on irreversible financial transactions, you know what I hope for? High percentage of AI coding.
I was just going to say, so I am looking forward to the next N Coinbase hacks, of which there will be many.
They already leaked all the data to Mumbai just recently.
10 million
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Tailwind,
It's not going to change anything, but
they're doing that. That is all Tailwind changes. There's no way they're letting it hit. He literally says in the tweet on that one, some code should not be AI generated. It's surely that they have a million vibe coders pushing forward random features on the front end, and the diffs are all plus 30,000 lines. You know what I mean? That. Please be the case, Coinbase. Please be the case.
They're probably also potentially somehow considering tab auto completion. Maybe they're hand waving 20%, which is just they're just saying, oh, that also counts. I don't even know how someone
believe it. I mean, a lot of code. So I can look at a project, on GitHub or something that was made before AI, and I'm like, yeah, I could believe this was all AI generated. The coding quality is super low, right? It's just piles and piles and piles and piles and piles of stuff. Clearly Swiss cheese. If you were a security researcher, you'd just be like, well, I'm getting a lot of papers out of this, right? So I would believe it. I don't think we did not roll into the AI era with high coding standards. We rolled in with rock bottom coding standards. So I believe people when they say 40%, because I'm like, I can't tell the difference between the code you were writing before and the code that this AI is spitting out. It looks the same. It's just complete garbage where you just pile crap on top of each other and duplicate code 50 million times. Do all this. It doesn't look different to me. So I believe people when they say that. Maybe they're lying, but I don't think they have to be, because I could believe it. I don't think Coinbase is a Fort Knox of security, right?
Fort Knox doesn't even have gold in it anymore, Casey.
Yeah, Casey.
Yeah, man. Actually?
Where's the gold audit? Where's the Fort Knox gold audit?
Trash. You can look
and
it
the
up.
Bill Gates microchips have all the gold in them. They needed the gold for the chips, for the microchips, for the 5G receivers.
Trash. Look up when was the last time we got to go see in the inside of Fort Knox.
I don't know. The only thing I remember from Fort Knox is in Die Hard with a Vengeance, and that movie was awesome.
Didn't see it.
I didn't see that one.
Love the first one, though.
The idea, though, is have we hit is this too much AI? Have we finally hit it where people just don't even, they're like, because it's not like LLMs can just do everything. So we're kind of in this weird world where you do have to manually code quite a few things. But if everyone's just like, I don't even want to do it, what does that mean? What does that say for us?
I mean, I use AI to do the stuff that's just really easy to do. But
what does that mean?
So I don't
all
know.
of his work.
Well, my job. No, but say if I just
have
have
time to show up to the podcast.
No, I'll have it run
it's like the AI's doing my job right now. Why do you think I could be here?
Dude, I just shipped 30 new features just now, okay? I'm getting paid and I'm shipping features. No, but if it's just hey, test this for me in these different scenarios, or like yesterday I had to test some caching stuff, and I was I gave it some to-dos of test this scenario for the cache and make sure the cache isn't validated. It just did all the tests for me, from what I could tell properly, or just small refactor stuff that are just kind of grunt work. I will always delegate that.
From what I could tell, probably.
I will say, Trash.
I told it to test the thing, and it tested the whole thing.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, though,
it worked for an hour. It must have done something. I don't know.
But literally 80% of the time, I'm that's not right, and it's just you're right. I should. And so it's kind of annoying, and at some point I just stop and I do it myself. But
I will say though, Trash.
Yeah.
I'm quite a bit more willing to change the shape of something if let's say we have 10 instances or 10 to 30 or something, because I'm working on Mordoria right now for our game, and sometimes we make enemies one way to start and I realize we need to change it. I'm like a lot more willing to change that now than I used to be, because I can just say like, hey, here, I can be like, whatever, cursor or OpenCode or whatever. Like, here's the file that looks right now. Here's the directory of the rest of them. Like, make them all look like this one.
That's
and then, like,
literally
you go
what
check the diff.
That's literally what I do. I'm like, here's a working example. Just copy it.
Yes.
Don't do anything
and just,
else.
Like, go fix the other ones. There's 20 of them that are the wrong way. We had to like move this thing into this child thing, and now we're passing it here. Boom. It's like even sometimes sure you could do a macro and you could do some other stuff like that, and like I could get through quite a few of them sometimes like pretty quickly, but sometimes it's not quite so obvious, right? It's like I'm changing the name of something to be slightly different, and it's not really like macroable really or whatever. That is an easy way to generate 5,000 lines of code.
Exactly.
That is essentially zero in a way, right? Because it's like it's like I changed a bunch of stuff. Sure, it's AI generated, so it's like technically it's true, but it's really like I just ran a macro, like on this thing. So it's more like it's the change number of lines. Like for some reason we think measuring how much code AI writes is good by lines of code, but we would never decide whether a software developer is a good software developer at a company by measuring how many lines of code they did this year. There's some stuff like, did they write any? Like, okay, well, they got to write something to do something good. So there's some cases where it's obvious, but you wouldn't be like, Tom over there, he wrote 100,000 lines last week in J Diesel, and so he's really the guy that we love. Tom's a genius. You'd be like, no.
In general, it's usually the other way around. So I would usually measure productivity by features and how few lines of code it took. If you tell me you can implement this feature in 100 lines of code, that's way better than someone who's like, oh man, I implemented that feature and the AI wrote 30,000 lines of code. I'm like, because I see that a lot online, and I'm like, do you guys have any idea what you can do in C in 30,000 lines of code, let alone like something like Python?
We could have
where
put
you
a
got all these
whole
libraries.
game inside your application.
Like, you literally can do an entire game engine in around 10,000 lines of code if you want to, right? And so you did 30,000 lines of code, and they're like, I moved this button. And you're like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, how is this possible? So there is a lot of that where I look at the things that people are stating as, like, supposed evidence that things went well, and I'm like, that sounds terrible. But again, I mean, I think when you roll in with such rock-bottom standards, I mean, that apparently skates as something that is quote-unquote evidence that this is working well, but it sounds like it's working terribly.
I would love to see... We have 90% of our code that's getting deleted is by AI.
Yeah,
right? Like
that's what
the
you
AI
want.
is going through,
that's what you want.
And it's
AI
finding,
bros. That's what it should be. It should be like, I ran this thing on this 500,000 line GitHub repo, and it reduced it to 50,000 lines, and it still does all the same stuff. That's the AI you actually want, right?
Yeah, I would love to see more, like, hey, 30% of our PRs are code reduction PRs by AI. It starts up stuff and like finds patterns that we wrote the same 37 times throughout the code base and wraps it up into one. Solves it.
Which it feels like it should be able to do, but for some reason is not doing. So I don't know. Like, I don't really know what's going on there, if it's just a case of like the people who are training these things don't train them properly or what. I don't know. Or maybe it's just a really hard problem.
It's a lame demo compared to one-shotting something. I think that's one of, honestly, that's one of the big problems is like a lot of stuff
is based on the demo.
Is 0 to 1 and not, 38 to 42. Right? They don't really care about 38 to 42 as much.
Are these football terms? Because I don't know.
I'm saying like 0 to 1.
Like the touchdown and...
Yes.
like
no, I was just saying 0 to 1, like I don't have any code to like a minimum, like an MVP.
Right,
and I'm saying
I knew that one, but I didn't know the 38 to 42.
I just picked two random numbers of like farther in the future.
All right.
Yeah,
I still don't get it.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
I was doing a scale of 0 to 60. 60 being your...
I was just making up
flying.
random numbers.
Okay.
And hoping that they weren't a dog whistle.
I just want the code to get somewhat better. Like, I just want things to improve, and right now AI seems to be doing the opposite. That's the thing, right?
So I don't think they could do even what you're saying with the whole, like, find patterns and reduce it. I'm not sure if AI can do that because it might... Because I'm positive if you took Tree Sitter and you just said, how many, like, similar patterns do I have in my code base, just, like, structurally speaking, you could find patterns all over the place throughout your code base. Structurally, and it's just like, what does it mean to an AI to find things of similar pattern or shape? You might, I'm not sure if this might be actually a really hard problem that is not very obvious to us, because for us it's very easy to see what should be, or I know I say that so flippantly, but a lot of people get it wrong. But you get the idea that it's easy to look at things and be like, oh, I can make this more simple by moving it to here. But that's also one of those amazing parts about humans is it takes 100 neurons to tell if something's a cat, and it takes trillions of operations for an LLM to see if something's a cat. Right? It's just like the vast difference is incredible.
I just mean like, all right, I mean, that could be true, in which case AI is just doomed, right? But I'm like, if all the people out there who are AI optimists, I'm like, you should be showing me this. Like, show me the thing that actually does something good instead of the thing that always poops out poop, right? Like, in coding, it feels like we're still at the thing where it like generates 17 fingers on the guy's hand in the photo, right? Like, that's where it feels like we're at in code. And so, like, I want to see someone that's like, no, it can actually draw a human fairly reliably now. Like get us there at some point, please. Yeah, because people are using these tools and they're very bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've had good success if like the problem is well scoped. It's in a like code base that has similar patterns, and I can say like the one we were saying before. And Trash, I think you've said you've done this too, of just like, hey, I changed this one, I updated it. Now I need you to go do this in like 40 files. Just go spend some tokens, burn some electricity, and solve this for me. Like, that actually has worked really well for me, and it is nice because it like frees me up to fix my previous mistakes, right? In the sense that like sometimes you'd be like, it's just not really worth it to like go and change the structure of this because you're gonna go find all the places and do all this stuff. If you can just be like, go find all the places and fix those for me. It's nice. So I've used it like for a wide range of stuff, but I do think people would be like better served by showing real examples of like, I pointed at this code base and it reduced 2,000 lines of code. That for me, I would be like, that's awesome. I would be way more excited for your project.
Yeah, it feels like it would be very useful and what is more needed, like in a lot of these projects that I see, like they're just, when I look at them, I'm like, okay, you guys literally took like 10,000 lines of code to do something that's like literally 100 lines of code, just because no one really knew what was going on. And I maybe that's something AIs can't do in the near term, but it kind of doesn't feel like that should be the case. I just feel like they probably just don't have good training sets to like. They probably just don't have a way to really train it to do that right now, but, you know.
That was one of the things we didn't get to it last episode, but, like, I think, honestly, one of the things people are underestimating about the training data on GitHub is not just that you have code there, but that you can actually see the changes over time. And, like, training on diffs and other stuff like that.
Right.
Or recently I saw an article where OpenAI, maybe, and Microsoft or someone else, I don't know, was thinking about licensing like cursor edits or something for people who have like that turned on or whatever. Like,
yeah, because it needs to see that. But of course, the problem is if everyone is doing the thing that I'm complaining about, which is, hey, I just spammed out 10,000 lines of code to move the button over here or whatever, then that means the AI learns that way. And that's a problem, right? So, and I don't know how you fix that problem other than you have to shift the way that you're doing your AI to one that's more of an adversarial training process, like more like an AlphaGo kind of a thing, which I guess they just haven't really quite gotten enough of that into the process yet or whatever.
I'm still going to have a job writing code later because they're going to just be paying me to write code to train AI off me. See, so that's my job security, Casey. Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be like a boutique thing in the future where it's like, you kind of like have an officially licensed, like kind of like, you know, you have an officially licensed sport, like this is Michael Jordan's shoe. Ooh. It's like, this is TJ's, like, you know, AI that you use and it programs like him or whatever, man, or you can be like him when you program.
We should do that. I want Trash as my coding buddy the whole time. He's like, great work. Let's eat a Dorito. You know what I mean? I'm like,
I want to be the modern day Clippy. All right.
There you go.
Can you just imagine me? Like, can you imagine me just in the bottom right hand of your corner? I'm just like, dude, that's sick.
Trash, we need to make that. We actually need to make that.
It looks like you're trying to be incredibly baller. Go for it.
You know what? You deserve a Dorito. Let's go.
All right, so
I gotta go to jujitsu. I'll be right back. And then it just disappears for like 2 hours.
Don't ask for me for like a couple hours. I gotta go work out.
And there's a little silhouette of it like going, like doing all this stuff and like throwing
like
dude
when you could have
across
the
your
dancing
desktop.
avatars on Windows. When they had those, like, you could have The dancing
baby.
avatars. Yeah. Oh man.
Well, that
Alright,
stuff
so
has
I'm
evolved
gonna
now.
steal
You
man.
know that, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's an entire market of idle games that run down in the taskbar, basically, like on the bottom of your Windows desktop. So, you know, that could be where trash is ultimately headed.
Yeah, I like that. Trash. We can make that happen. We can immortalize you.
True.
Trash idlers.
That
A
would
new
be
genre of trash
kinda
idlers.
cool.
All right, so I'm gonna attempt to steel man some of the AI. I think things that has been flowing through a lot of like the normies thought process on this all, which is that computers are fast enough to process a lot of code, and we call these things like tech debt or poorly written code. But if an AI can fix the poorly written code, and it doesn't matter how many times it's copied, it doesn't matter about all of that. If it just keeps on abstracting you away and it's just able to take care of all of those headaches, it doesn't matter if the diff was 10 lines or 1,000 lines. Because at the end of the day, computers are fast enough, and we should be able to produce out the exact feature set we want, regardless of the quality of the code. And when I need to refactor, I don't think about refactoring. I'm just like, hey, update this, and it goes and it finds all the places, and it does either the manually updating or maybe, God forbid, it reduces entropy and does some sort of refactoring. But at the end of the day, it's just like, no, that's not a problem. That's not the way we think about things.
Well, there's several problems with it, right? The very first one and most important one for this domain is security. Because the more lines of code you have, the more exploits you have, almost always, right? So that's problem A, because a lot of times we're talking about like web development stuff. So it's not like a video game or something where you're just running it in some situation where maybe you just don't care because it's like completely, it's on the PlayStation and it's completely isolated process or whatever, who knows. Thing two is performance is already abysmal. I mean, I'm already sitting here, I click a button and I wait,
I'm not
sometimes
saying this is a good thought, by the way. This is just me trying to steel man them as much as possible.
The problem is computers aren't fast enough. They just aren't. We've still managed to slow them down. And the problem is the way in which they slow down right now is very, very, very tied to the structure of what you're doing. So if you have your AIs generating all these like server round trips or whatever, because that implements the feature, well, your customers will be waiting longer and longer and longer to click the button or to open up the app or all the other things, which people claim is fine. But whenever anyone does a study, they find that like every additional 100 milliseconds costs them money, like costs them actual revenue, right? And so it's not okay, right? It's not okay to sacrifice performance because not only does it ruin everything for everybody who actually uses your software, but it actually does end up hurting you in the long run too. So that's a problem.
Even if you think AI is still going to write all your code, it's actually better if AI can do it more concisely for regular people because you're going to pay by the token. But that actually leaves a perverse incentive
for
does. AI companies who, at least for people training models, I think like Cursor would prefer you to take less tokens because they don't want to have to charge you more money. Right. But like OpenAI, they like if all the code takes a lot of tokens and it churns a lot all the time. Because then they say, excellent. Your entire business depends on you sending this back to me and you don't know what to do with it. So they're like, they have a very perverse incentive actually to like, well, we'll just keep pushing the context window bigger. That's really what you need. You really need 2 million tokens of context. And load that bad boy up. Load it up.
Which also means that they have agent problems too, right? Oh, you know what? Our agents are going to get extra smart. They're going to double check every file.
Right. I would also point out that one of the nice things about a current data center, like if you were just look at like a data center that you built for, I don't know, AWS or something, or a Google data center, for the most part, they're pretty multi-purpose. Like you can do lots of different stuff with it. You could run some really slick, very custom, very efficient application on it that was written to bare metal or whatever you want, right? You could do all kinds of stuff. Or you can run like 12 layers of bloated Python. You could do whatever you want, right? And the data center they're pretty general purpose, and there might be certain use cases that they're maybe not optimal for, but it can adapt, right? And so all of us out there can use it for various reasons. An AI data center can only do one thing, and one thing only, and that is low precision matrix multiplies. That's basically it. Like it's not going to do anything else well. It's not going to be power efficient doing anything else. It's going to be very power hungry if you were to run anything else on it, because most of the equipment in it and the entire structure, and like it's liquid cooled, right? It's not going to be air cooled like a normal data center, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there are some data centers that are liquid cooled, but either way, I'm saying like they're designed totally differently, and they have way more power being pushed through them, because that's how AI is a very sustained high load kind of a thing. So we're also building out a tremendous amount of infrastructure that's completely useless for anything else but this. And that also sucks, in my opinion, because what if this turns out to not be that great? What if we find there's a much better way to be doing this stuff? Like, what happens to all of this build out? So that's not very encouraging either, in my opinion. But I guess their answer is just, well, we'll just build more data. So like, all right. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I don't love this kind of stuff. I like general purpose computing. I don't like this hyper specialized kind of thing. But that's where we're at.
Confirmed, Casey likes Python 12 layers of things over CUDA. Got it. Confirmed.
I mean, but I hate to say it, but actually, yes. Like,
oh, we got him.
That's kind of true. Like, I love GPUs and I love GPU programming. I think that's very interesting if you're a gamer and you bought one.
What's that, right? Better Software Conference? You're not inviting Casey back this year?
Yeah, exactly. But I love the fact that the data center can do that. I love that.
Yes.
I absolutely hate the fact that I have to use code that's 16 layers of Python deep or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But I absolutely love the fact that that worked. Yes, and an AI data center literally cannot run that. It would just roll over and die, right? So,
ask the AI to evaluate it and guess what the output would be.
Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't say it can't run it. I mean, obviously it can run it. It can run it. It just costs so much more power to run it is the right way to say it, right? It's it's not like it can't. It's so much less efficient.
That was pretty neat. Casey.
It's a cool story.
It's a cool story.
To you.
I agree with you, but hey, guess what? I think that means we're done for the day, huh?
Teach, production's down.
I don't concern myself with such matters.
What do you mean production doesn't concern you?
I've shipped 37, nay, 38 features today.
Teach always makes the mess and I always clean it up. I'm better than that. I don't have to be a janitor. Someone has to be the adult around here.
Who is that? It's me, your West LA godfather.
John Carmack?
What? No, it's me, Trash.
Oh.
Wait, are you here to finally get management to understand software?
What? I'm a West LA godfather, not a miracle worker.
Oh, then why are you here?
I'm here to tell you about Seer by Sentry, the world's first AI debugger that actually has access to all of your logs, stack traces, code, commit history, and more. Code breaks, but you can get the fixed faster with Seer.
Who are you talking to?
What?
Build with AI, fix with Sentry.